So, yeah, hopefully y'all can see me. I'm looking pretty marvelous. Last week, Tim took the challenge of vlogging, which is going to be quite interesting to edit. So, basically what he did was vlogged himself making his carbon fiber insert to block off this open space by his fuel cell, which I'll show you in a few seconds. And he put on his door handles on the, I want to say passenger door. I don't know if he did the driver's door yet, but yeah, he vlogged that. And dealing with the camera that we vlogged it on, it was Greg's Panasonic, what's it, the G7? Yeah. G7. A couple things to note about that camera. One is acting dumb and keep corrupting all the video files, so have to salvage what he already had. And then for two, autofocus. It sucks. But just gonna plug it over so y'all can see what I was able to save from the day. And yeah, just enjoy that and I'll be right back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Street Bandito. It's my first episode just filming myself. We'll see how it goes. Xavier can still edit this, so hopefully he can make this work out. But so this episode I'm not gonna do anything crazy, just bolting on some of the parts we've already seen on, like the passenger's door. Probably I'm gonna try to do my pedal box. So I'm using the stock pedal box, but I bought some new pedals that I'm gonna mount to the stock brake and clutch pedal. And I'm also gonna do one on the S2000 pedal, but I'm not gonna do that today. I'm using the S2000 accelerator pedal, the stock one. And maybe cut some carbon fiber parts, some small stuff like my trunk floor, and I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how much we get done, but I'll just get right into it. Okay, so first step is just bolted up my hinges to the body of the car, but now my hardware, can you see it? Hardware is like kind of still the gray that the car used to be. So what you gotta do is get your trusty stabber tool and then just gotta paint them. So I've already made this template down here. Just covers the hole in the floor where I cut out. There's a spare tire that like sunk in right there and a bunch of other stuff that I cut out. So I'm gonna cut a new piece out of this in carbon fiber that I so. Okay, so now I'm just going to follow this little line that I made, cut it out. This is like thin sheet of carbon. It's probably too thin for a floor, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this, test fit this piece, make sure it's all good to go. And then what I'm gonna do is take some of this stuff right here, the Soric core stuff. If you add resin to this and add it to the back of a flat panel or a curved panel, any panel really, it'll make it super, super stiff. Okay, now we have the start of the trunk floor. Just like 2 sheets of carbon thick. It's really pretty thin. And it being flat and having no curves makes it a little less stiff. But once I have that Soric core stuff I was talking about, should be good. Go around. And then basically what I'm going to do is box it up. There's a 90-degree bend piece of carbon fiber. It's like this guy. So use a 90-degree piece of carbon like this. Probably epoxy it to here to that. And then I'm basically gonna build a wall straight up, and then it'll cap back over and cover either most or all of this tank. It's either gonna go like a 45 up to the trunk or a 90 and go across and just have a hole full of this. This fuel cap right here, actually, I got this super trick. It's from a motorcycle, but it's an aluminum cap and it sits flush. And what you do is press it in and twist it, quarter turn, and then it comes up. The only thing I really had to modify with this thing is once you get it off. So there's the cap itself. And again, it like pushes down and it's short. Since it's gonna be sitting in my trunk at an angle like this, and this seal can't be exactly watertight, where you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. But basically, so a little bit of water is gonna get in here, so all I had to do was drill a hole through this guy, and that's gonna sit at the lowest point on it, so any water that sits in here is gonna drain out. Probably like to the back of my tank and just hit the ground, maybe hit the diffuser. That way when I open the cap, it won't have a puddle of water sitting in there, and then I open it and then it flow into my gas tank and water down my gas. That would suck. It's the only little thing I had to do to this. Other than that, it's got like a little beveled edge right here. So I'm gonna cut a hole in my trunk the size of that so that can sit in there, and then I'm just gonna epoxy it to the back of my trunk. The guy Josh, who did all my exhaust and did the cage and everything like that, I'm gonna have him come in, and I'm basically just gonna do a rubber connector from this guy to a new fuel filler neck that will attach, well, we're gonna weld to the end of that guy. So that little silver cap won't be there anymore, and it'll come up and then have a rubber connector between that piece and this piece that will essentially be sitting on the trunk in the center there somewhere, like probably like there. So my next step here is to take this handle. It's already ground down. It's a good surface to adhere epoxy to. Inside of this, could use a little work, so I'm just gonna take a little bit of 80 grit, scuff up the inside of this tab here. So since this has a mechanical lock and not an adhesive lock, you need to give it something to grab into. It does still grab pretty well, just without doing anything, but if you want your part to be on there for good, that's what you want to do. So, there we go. Just gotta go grab some epoxy. So I'm using 5-minute epoxy. It's Norton Speed Grip. So the stuff I've been using, this is just a 5-minute variation of it. Comes out 2 colors and then mixes in the tip. I like to shoot a little dab somewhere else just in case the very first bit didn't get mixed fully. And I'm really not going to need too much for this. There we go, now I can start seeing it come out the sides. So we're gonna let that dry, probably like 10 or 15 minutes. Meantime, I'm gonna put the actual lock into the door. Basically just cut the tab off with this. It's a 240Z stock lock assembly. And I welded on this little L bracket thing here so I can convert it so it doesn't have like a rod locking mechanism. It now has there it goes. Now it's a cable. So essentially you just pull this red cable and it pops the door open. I'm not sure if I want to put the lock in the passenger side or not, so I'm going to leave it off for now. definitely have the lock on the driver's side, so I might have to just unlock it from the inside on the passenger side. Haven't decided yet. I'll see how inconvenient it is. I can always drill it out later. It's already marked on the inside from the mold. I already sprayed the inside mechanisms of this thing with white lithium grease, just to make sure. I haven't like rebuilt this thing or anything, but it's never let me down. I dailyed this thing for like a year and a half before my rear brakes rusted out. My brake line rusted out, and I drifted like 4 or 5 blocks. Didn't hit anybody until a Cadillac stopped right in front of me. But the guy was cool, so it doesn't matter to me. And that's when I actually also took this thing off the road. That was 2010. But so that's basically just gonna bolt right in here like this, and then you'll pull this guy, and that releases the door from the inside. Super simple. It weighs like 1 pound for this whole, the cable and everything. Actually, it's like 0.6. So I'm saving a ton of weight there. I almost cut that much weight off of the actual lock itself. So the next thing to do would be mounting the handle.
What planet are you on?
And she works. I don't have the actual latch piece on, so it's not actually going to lock, but you'll get the idea. Yeah. So you're from the outside, and then that's how you're from the inside. I don't know what I'm doing. I had a lot of plans for today, but I just dilly-dallied a lot trying to mess with this camera stuff. It's a lot of work, honestly, trying to film yourself and work on shit at the same time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna build a lot of this back panel stuff because I wanna see more of it together because I'm impatient. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm just gonna leave this here, put together like some of the hatch stuff, maybe put the taillights in and the taillight panels. All right, guys, I'm gonna call today a wrap. It's pretty successful for my first day of just filming myself. Didn't get as much done as if like Xavier or Greg was here, but it's all good. They were busy, and I'm just trying to get as much done as I can by the August 4th meet, but I also don't wanna skip showing you guys the steps. So I'm gonna try to do this maybe a little bit more often if I can squeeze in a couple more camera days throughout the week after working 10 hours, but doors on. Handle works. That's awesome. We got the rear hatch is pretty much, it's just chilling on there right now, but it takes like 2 seconds to bolt up. But the rear taillight panels are actually bolted in right now. I'll probably end up running those screws I was telling you about, maybe like here and on the other side there. And I'm gonna epoxy these two together with the final piece in the center and throw some bolts in these guys. But I don't know, that's pretty much it for today. Like, comment, subscribe, come out to our August 4th meet. Couple little details. I'll probably be sharing more details on my Instagram story if you follow me on Instagram, Tech410. We're going to have a limited run of some special shirts that we're gonna sell just in person there, and a couple of bandanas. We're finally getting a bunch of stickers, like a ton of stickers. So if you come out, get some stuff, help us get all this stuff done, help support us. This is awesome. I mean, a year ago, I was not even really contemplating like that YouTube could really be a thing for us, but you guys have proved me wrong. So thanks for all the support. Come out August 4th.